that we are doing these exam preparation workshops. It's going to be on they're going to be on Saturdays. So Saturday the 14th and the 21st of May. Those are the 2 days when these exam prep workshops will be. I think that they are an hour and a half each. They may be 2 hours. I'm not sure if that's been defined yet. The cost for both workshops together, so for both days, is 199 Rand. And if you're wanting to sign up, then you need to ask your parents to fill out the registration form that they've been sent. Okay, so if you're wanting to be part of the exam prep workshops, you need to ask your parents to fill out the registration form. And I've been load shedded. And it will cost 199 Rand. That's such a fright because all of a sudden everything got dark. It's going to cost 200 Rand-ish for the thing. Okay. I will put this up again at the end of the lesson for anyone who needs to see it. Cool. Okay. Oh, yeah, questions. Okay, go. I'm all yours.
So, ma'am, I've been asking, so those extra classes for exam preparation, how long are they going to take?
I don't know if they've decided on a definite time. I think that the lessons are an hour and a half, but they could be 2 hours, but my gut is telling me that they're an hour and a half each.
Okay, so they are taking days or 1 day, it's 1 day or 2 days or more?
So there's two days, so the Saturday the 14th and Saturday the 21st, but this payment, this 199 Rand, is for both of those sessions together. So you get 2 lessons for that payment.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, cool. Chosi.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, what if on the 21st, for example, I'll be not available because I have a school tour. So are there any possibilities that the exam preparations will be on the saved lessons, on the other lessons that are saved?
They may, so they wouldn't put them where everything is saved because people had to pay extra for these. But I think that I can ask and find out if they can send you the video recording if you missed it and you had paid for it. I can ask and find out about that.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Cool. Is that everyone? Cool. Let's get going. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. It's 90 minutes, so it's an hour and a half. So it's an hour and a half on Saturday the 14th and then an hour and a half on Saturday the 21st. Okay, we're going to do a quick recap of what we did on Tuesday. So I want you to sketch the straight line graph. You're going to do it by first identifying your y-intercept. Okay, just remember that is when x is equal to 0. Remember where it is in this equation, and I want you to give it to me in coordinates, where you give me your x value and your y value, okay? And then the second thing you're going to do is you're going to find your x-intercept. That's where y is equal to 0. And again, you're going to give it to me in the coordinates x and then y. If this is your first lesson and you weren't here on Tuesday and you're feeling a little bit lost, please read that message that Yolanda has just posted in the chat. All of our videos are on the website. And I have been told today that they will be up in 24 hours after the lesson. So the lesson from Tuesday will definitely be there. In Corsi, that's great. That's a great start. And once you've found your coordinates for each intercept, draw them on your little graph. Yeah, 24 hours is better, you're right. Because then you can watch it before our next lesson. So Kelly, just be careful with that. When you're saying y equals, it changes what you're dealing with. So as soon as you give it, you can just give it as coordinates as 0, 5 in brackets, because by having x being 0, you're saying it is the y-intercept. So yeah, I know what you're trying to say to me, but just be careful with how you write it. And if anyone is new and feeling scared, please let us know. Reach out. I like the 0 and the 5. Just remember, we want to hug them together in brackets. Beautiful. Okay, I'm not going to do the second part of this because I think some people are still working, but for our y-intercept, remember it's your c value over there where x is 0 and it's our c value, which is 5. We don't have to do any calculations for that. It's nice and easy. We go to find 0 on the x-axis. This is x, this is y. I've put it on the other side. This is x, this is y. So we find 0 on the x-axis, 5 on the y-axis, and we plot that point. Okay.
So I see on the comments that they giving so all of you are giving x and then in brackets the the intercepts or the coordinates. So if teacher Jenny can just repeat that for us so we can understand better how to give the coordinates, please.
So when you I know that you guys are trying to communicate with us so that we know what you're telling us, so that we know that you're finding the x-intercept or the y-intercept. But the thing is, in maths, if you write something incorrectly, like if I write a y over there, I'm writing it wrong because I'm saying y times this. So we're not allowed to put that there, and we also can't say like y equals, because then we've made it an equation. So when you're given coordinates, you literally can give it exactly like this. You just write the 0 and the 5. And I know, and your teacher will know, whoever's marking your work will know it's the y-intercept because your x is 0. Okay, so they know that you know that. If you are determined to give it some kind of label, if you're panicking, you can say y-intercept, do a little colon, and then say 0, 5, because you're like, then you're saying this is what this is equal to. If you want to, you can, but don't put an equals there. Okay. Seko, that's okay. Seko, for those of you who came a little bit late after I made this announcement, I have you're all on mute just so that there isn't background noise. If you're wanting to ask a question or you're wanting to say something, if you just use the hands up emoji, then I will unmute you. Okay. Or I'll say, ask this learner to unmute, and then you should get a little note on your side. Exactly. That's all we need. The 5 is the y. So that's that first point. Is y always there? I don't know if I understand your question. Are you talking about there? Is that where y always is? Because that is definitely where y always is.
So teacher Jenna, I think maybe he's trying to ask if will y always be given as a c value? So will it always have the y given?
So sometimes it'll be plus nothing, and then you can't do intercept. Then we have to do one of the ways we did on Tuesday. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, amazing. Again, I love that, but just don't use equal signs. Okay, because then we're making them equations. Ria, the way you've written that, glorious. There's something wrong with something, but we'll talk about that now. So when we're finding our x-intercept here, we're going to make y equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to say 0 is equal to negative 1x plus 5. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that 5 across. So it's going to become negative 5 is equal to negative 1x. I'm going to divide by negative 1. I'm going to divide by negative 1. And I'm going to see that x is equal to a negative, and a negative is a positive. So my coordinates here are positive 5 and 0. I'm going to find that on my axis, and I'm going to draw it in. And then I'm going to take my ruler, and I'm going to draw a beautiful line. And I'm going to label it. Y is equal to negative x plus 5. Okay. Now, if you had made the mistake, which lots of people, it's a very easy mistake to make. If you had not divided that properly with a negative and you'd gotten negative 5 and 0, okay, let's say you did that. Let's say you made a mistake and your graph looked like this yellow line, okay? Then you need to think about what this equation is saying. We need to have a look here. Our gradient says -1. If it's a negative gradient, it means we're dealing with a decreasing line, which means as we're reading from left to right, our line is decreasing, it is going down. And so if you landed with this yellow line that I've got that's going up, this line goes up, right? Then you know you've made a mistake because that is not a negative gradient. So you can always use the equation to help you and make sure you're right with what you're doing. It's a -1, which means I need a negative gradient. It needs to go down. Okay. Are we feeling a bit calmer about these than we did on Tuesday? Is this not feeling as scary? Hopefully. Okay, good. Let me see some thumbs up. Good. Okay. So now that you're feeling calm, I'm going to throw you in the deep end with something new because, you know, that's what I like to do. So we are going to start parabolas today. Okay, so you can't divide by 5. You always divide by the coefficient of x. So whatever number is next to the x, that's always what we divide by. I know that your instinct is to divide by what's on the left of the equal sign, but you always divide by the number that's next to the x. Okay, cool. Okay, so the parabola. Today we are going to work on the parabola equation. We're going to talk about what it means, what it looks like, and we're going to try and find the equation of a few graphs using the parabola. So, anyone who has done this in class, we did talk about it on Tuesday. What is the equation for a parabola? So a straight line is y equals mx plus c. What is the equation of a parabola? I'm all yours. Hello?
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, the equation for parabola is y equals to ax squared plus q.
Beautiful. Yes. Can you take it a step further while I've got you on the line and tell me what the a and the q stand for?
Ma'am, is the a the gradient, then q the y value?
Okay, it's close. So q is definitely the y-intercept. Okay, perfect. We don't use the word gradient with a parabola because it's curved, but it's the same idea. So it's called the amplitude. But basically, the A tells us if it's a happy, yes, exactly. I'm going to rather write shape because I think that'll be an easier thing for people to think of. But that was very well answered. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
A is telling us our shape. If A is positive, so if A is positive, then we have a happy parabola. So we've got like a smiley face parabola. And if A is negative, then we have a sad face parabola. So we either have a happy parabola or we have a sad parabola. That's what A is telling us. It's telling us our shape of our graph. Okay. It also tells us how thin our graph is going to be and how fat our graph is going to be. Yes, beautiful, beautiful words. If it's concave up or concave down. Absolutely. Okay. And our y-intercept, it's exactly the same as when we think about it as a straight line graph is our y-intercept. And now this concept will feel a little bit easier because we've been dealing with it on Tuesday. Your y-intercept is the point where it crosses the y-axis. So if this point over here was -4, then these coordinates would be 0 and -4, and my q value would be -4. Okay. Now in this graph that I've just drawn over here, that I've just put in this orange box, would I have a positive a value or would I have a negative a value? Who thinks they can tell me? Good. I would have a positive one. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, I would have a positive A value because I have a happy parabola. Imagine there's two little creepy eyes over there. It's a smiley face parabola. It is positive. Okay. The hands that are up, I think you were answering me. If you do have a question, keep them up. If you were going to answer me, you can lower them for me so I know you don't have a question. Okay, so smiley parabola means that A is going to be positive. This is telling me that A is positive. That is what that's telling me. And this down here is telling me that my Q value would be -4. Okay, in the Bentley, how can I help?
Ma'am, in this equation, is it y equals ax squared plus q or y equals 9x squared plus q?
Sorry, it's an A. That's an A.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yes, it's a smiley face. It's a little happy smiley face. You can even, I sometimes just draw a tongue over there sometimes. It's like, but that looks a bit creepy today. Maybe it's orange eyes. Anyway, it's a happy parabola. That's a bit creepy. I admit that. Okay. So that is what our equation of a parabola looks like. The parabola is also called, it's got another name, it's called our quadratic function. Okay, and it's called a quadratic function. Think about when we did quadratic equations. Every time we had a quadratic equation, what did we have in that equation? What did we have that made the equation quadratic? Yes, the exponent. Good. Okay, so if I had like 2x plus 4, that is a, let's say it's equal to 8. Okay, that is a linear equation. And a linear equation means that I have a straight line. If I had, let's say 10 is equal to 2x squared plus 4, that would be a quadratic equation because I have this x squared chilling here. That x squared makes it quadratic. So in a parabola, you always are going to have this x squared, and you often are going to have to factorize because when we have a quadratic equation, we have to factorize. Okay, and we factorize because we have two values for x. So for example, let's say I gave you x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. Okay. What type of factorizing could I do with x squared minus 16? Dots. Yes, yes, beautiful. I would do dots. I love how I've snuck into your brains. Okay, when we have dots, we have two brackets. So I'd have x plus 4, x minus 4 is equal to 0. And then if I'm solving that, I would say x equals -4 or x equals 4. Now, we've been doing this since grade 9, but actually what you're doing here is you're finding the y-intercepts of a quadratic function. You are finding this value here and that value there because you have made y equal to 0. And when y is equal to 0, we look for our x-intercepts. When y is equal to 0, our answers are our x-intercepts. So what we're finding that this point over here is 4 and that point over there would be -4. Oh, yes. Okay. So for those of you who have not been in our lessons for a long time, dots stands for difference of two squares. So it's when we factorize and we've got two terms, both of them are squares. So the 2 is because there's two terms, squares, they are both square numbers. Difference means there has to be a minus sign. And when we do difference of two squares, we have one bracket and then another bracket. We look for the square root of our first term and we write that at the front of both. We have a plus and a minus, and then we square root our second term. So we get a 4 and a 4. But don't worry, we're not going to do a lot of factorizing today. We'll do that in our lesson on Tuesday. So we don't need to ever factorize with straight line graphs because there's only ever going to be one x value for every y value. Okay, but don't panic. This was just to sort of start understanding everything that a parabola is. We're going to kind of take it down and we're going to make things a little bit easier today. So don't stress. And we will, oh, perfect square. Okay, yeah. Half x squared minus 8. Yes, exactly. A half x squared minus 8 would that would be a parabola. Exactly. So anytime you have an x squared involved, it's going to be a parabola, which makes it quite cool. Okay. So we are going to be finding the equation of a few graphs today. So I'm going to make it quite nice and easy. We're just going to like take a step back. This is just sort of setting the scene of what a parabola is, how parabolas. Actually, we've been dealing with parabola work since grade 9. But don't panic, we will get more into all of this as we work through it. Okay. All right, so if we are looking for the equation of this graph, I'm going to do this one nice and slowly. So especially those of you who haven't done this in class yet, just listen carefully. And we're going to go through this together. And then hopefully by the end of this, you can try one after it by yourselves. Okay. Now I know, first of all, that my equation for a parabola is ax squared plus q. So I'm always going to write that. Half of the battle with function work is knowing which equation goes with which graph. Okay, I can see this as a parabola, which means it's going to be this equation. Next thing, nice and easy. I know that my y-intercept is -4, which means my q value is -4. So I can say y is equal to ax squared minus 4. Done. Now I have to find my a value. So when we're looking for the equation of a graph, we have to find q and we have to find a. When I'm looking for a, I'm going to take another point that I'm given and I'm going to substitute it in. So if I had to find the coordinates of that point, there's a 2. It's on my line, which means my y value is 0 because that 2 is an x-intercept. So these coordinates here would be 2 and 0. That is my x value. That is my y value. And we are going to substitute it in. My y value is 0. My x value is 2. Okay, so 0 is equal to 2 squared, which is 4a minus 4. I'm going to move that 4 across. When he jumps over the equal sign, it's going to become positive. I'm going to add 4 equals 4a. I'm then going to divide both by 4. And I'm going to see that a is equal to 1. And so when I write this out as my final answer, I would say, therefore, the equation is y equals 1x squared minus 4. And that is the equation of this line. Okay. Hakeem, how can I help?
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, where did you find the 0?
So if the point is on the line, then it's an intercept. So if it's lying on the line, then my y value will always be 0. And if it's lying on this line, then my x value would be 0.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
Sure. Okay, Oyabongwa, how can I help?
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, can you please go through it again?
How about in the next one, give it a try. So try and think about what's going on over here. Think about how we're first putting in our q value, then we're substituting in our second points, and then we get a thing. Just give it a try. I promise I'll go through the second one with you afterwards. I'm not going to just throw you in the deep end, but just give it a go, and then you can see where you're making mistakes. It'll make it easier for us to fix. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Lorato.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, I wanted to know if I could say y is equals to ax squared plus -4.
No, we never want to have two signs next to each other.
So it can change. It can be a plus or a minus.
It has to be a minus.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Instead of using that equation, yes, you can use the x minus x2, but in order for us to use that equation, we would need to have both intercepts. So then you would have to work on the fact that you know that this over here is -2, but you can absolutely do that. This is the second question coming up as what is directrix, but I don't know where I've used that word or where you're seeing it. So I don't know where the question's coming from. Have I missed something?
So I was also wondering the same. I haven't seen you writing anywhere directrix. So
I don't know where it's coming from, so I don't know how to help. Sorry, guys. If you can let me know where you've seen it, then maybe I can help, but I don't know. Okay. So I want you to keep this one in mind and I want you to give it a go. Remember, you just try. Wherever you go, if you struggle, that's okay. Okay, we'll work through wherever you're struggling. But just think about what each of these points mean. For this first one, I'm going to give you a bit of a helping hand, and then I'll give you less of a helping hand in the next one. Because this is my y-intercept, my x value would be 0 and my y value would be 12. And because this is an x-intercept, my x is -2 and my y would be 0. Okay. And just think that your equation is y equals ax squared plus q as you're working through this. Doesn't the -4 show that the graph has been shifted down by 4? Yeah, so it is talking about a shift. It's talking about a vertical shift of how the graph moves up and down. The lucky thing is that in grade 10, the parabola only moves up and down. It doesn't move side to side. So you can absolutely think about it as a shift, or you can think about it in grade 10 as what my y-intercept would be. Yeah, I can absolutely go back. You can take quick screenshots. Lorato?
I'm not sure. I am asking Lerata to unmute, so maybe she's not sure why is it not working.
Okay. Oh, raise your hand by mistake. Okay, no worries. I'll lower it. Okay.
So, ma'am,
Yes.
to the equation of y is equals to ax squared plus q. That equation can change or stay like that.
So we're trying to find if that's the equation. I want to know what A is and I want to know what Q is.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hakeem, how can I help?
Hi, ma'am. May you please go back just for 2 minutes?
Yeah, I'll go back just for a second just now. Let me just answer Amazing's question. Amazing, how can I help? I can see you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. I still can't hear you.
Ma'am?
There, hi.
Hey, ma'am, I was wanting to answer the questions of A and Q.
Oh, okay. I'm going to explain this one just for the beginning. But when we get through some more, I'll make sure to remember to call on you, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, just going back here so you can take a quick screenshots. Okay. And I'm going down again. Okay, some of the answers that are coming in, I'm seeing some good things. Just be careful that, so you've written your A value, but then you've left the X squared off. You have to have that X squared there. It's super important. So just be very careful with how you write this. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more minute and then I'm going to go through this with you. And remember, it doesn't matter if you do things wrong. That's what we're here for. Making mistakes is half the battle with maths. So Oyobongwa, also make sure that you have y equals, because we're dealing with the line equation. Okay, let's go. So first things first is, if they've given us a y-intercept, so they don't always, sometimes we have to do different things here. If they've given us the y-intercept, we're going to put that in first, okay? And our y-intercept here is 12. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have y equals ax squared plus 12. Okay, now we've got to think. So we're going to substitute and look for a, but it's really important to also look at the shape of a. We're dealing with a sad parabola. Okay, and because it's a sad parabola, that means a is going to be negative. So if you don't get a negative answer, you know you've made a mistake. That's why these things are useful for us, so we know how to correct ourselves. Okay, now I'm going to take my second coordinate that I've been given, which is -2 and 0, and I'm going to substitute it in. So this is my x value, and that is my y value. My y value is 0. And my x value is -2. Okay. So I get 0 is equal to -2 times -2 is positive 4a plus 12. Exactly. Okay. Then I'm going to move that 12 over and it's going to become negative. I'm going to divide by my coefficient of a. And I'm going to see that a is equal to -3, which means my equation for this graph is going to be y equals -3x squared plus 12. And it needs to be written exactly like that. How did this go? Show me with emojis, happy faces, thumbs up, thumbs down, sad faces. Show me emojis on how this question went. Nice. Oh, you forgot to change signs. Okay. It's good that you recognized that though, and you were able to see where you went wrong. Getting there. Great. That's fine if you use a different formula. There are lots of different formulas. It's okay. Just remember that if you are if you're really not understanding what's going on, just remember you can always message Yolanda for some helping hands. So -2 times -2 is definitely -2 times -2 is definitely positive 4, because we have 2 negatives which make a positive. So basically, if I'm rewriting that, I'm saying -2 times -2, and 2 negatives make a positive, and 2 times 2 make 4. So that's going to be equal to positive 4. Okay. Moko Kubale, how can I help?
Hello, ma'am.
Hi.
Ma'am, can you just explain for me there by -12 over 4 going downwards? I didn't get correct from there.
Okay, so basically, let's just rewrite those steps out from there. Is the first thing we did was we moved our 12 over. So we got -12 is equal to 4a. Are you happy with that step?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we have to divide by the coefficient, so the number that's next to the variable. So whatever number is next to that variable, I've got that 4 over there, I have to divide by 4. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So that 4 and that 4 cancel. And so a is -12 divided by positive 4, which is -3. And that -3 is going to go there, and that 12 goes there.
So, ma'am, where you say -3, you have to add a square.
you have to add the x squared because this is my a value. So we look at our formula, that -3, that's my a, and then I have x squared that I have to write, and then I found my q.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
No problem. Oh, Tianwa, I do that all the time. I so often write a instead of x squared. It's a very irritating mistake, but I promise it happens to the best of us. It happens to me all the time. Okay. Cool. Let's try. Oh, let me quickly go to our puzzle. And then, okay, I wanted to, sorry. The stars are, let me just change it. Okay. I wanted to make it a little bit nicer. So these are times, and that's a times. And I want to know what the answer is. Yes, so it's not the a that's being squared, it's going to be an x squared. So you're going to have an a and then x squared. Yeah, you could get numbers that won't divide nicely, but then you'll have a fraction. And that's okay, you can have a fraction. So this is the one we didn't get a chance to do on Tuesday. Yeah, Analisiwe, absolutely. Jeez, you got that so quickly.
Wow, well done. That was,
Yes, guys.
I was still dozing.
I'm telling you, they are cheating. I don't know how, but people are cheating. I feel so
Well done,
strongly about
guys.
this. Jeez, like, okay. Yeah, guys, it's definitely 80. So my apples are all 7. 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 28. So that means it's apple 7. So 7 times my butternut is 23, which means my butternut is 3. Okay, then I have to say 3 times something minus 7 gives me 17. So if I say 17 plus 7, if I move that 7 over, then that's going to give me 24, which means my mushroom has to be 8, because 3 times 8 gives me 24. So my mushroom is 8, that mushroom is 8. We've got 7 times 8 minus plus 3 times 8, which gives us 80. Way too fast. Way too fast. It's definitely a butternut. It's like orange. It's so much more a butternut than a pear. I don't even know how you see a pear. It has a leaf. Yes. So it's a butternut.
It's an orange pear.
Not a pear. All of you saying it's a pear. You're wrong. It's a butternut. Yeah, okay, but guys, that's not like in size proportion. Guys, can you imagine if you had a mushroom that was the same size as a butternut and the same size as an apple? It's 100% a butternut. Okay, and on that butternut discussion, it's not a pear. Butternuts do have leaves. I'm just gonna hold it in. It's not a pear. I'm gonna go to bed dreaming of pears now. Oh, it's not a pear. Calling it a pear. Okay. All right, give this one a try. Y equals ax squared plus q. So I'm going to be a little bit less helpful now, and I'm not going to give you the coordinates of things because they have given you some things. I want to know what a is. I want to know what q is. I feel so sulky about this pear situation. Remember, don't overthink Q. Monica, how can I help?
Then I have the answer.
Oh, okay. Can I call on you in 1 minute?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks. Paul, great. You're welcome to write your answers in the chat so long if you want to. But just be careful. If it's a parabola, if it's quadratic, that x has to be x squared. Amazing. Do you have a question?
I was just wanting to answer.
Oh, Monica's going to answer this one. But, oh, amazing. I said that I was going to call on you. Oh, no.
But ma'am, it's fine. Monica can answer first.
Thank you. Amazing. I'm so sorry.
Oh, he's such a gentleman.
Such a gentleman. Okay. Monica, we are all yours. Take it away.
Okay, ma'am, must I explain or must I give the answer?
So explain to me and I'll write it as we go through it, okay?
Okay, ma'am, so my Q is given as 1.
Good.
So I'm going to use.
Excellent. Okay.
1. And then ma'am, my X and my Y is given. So my Y is 9.
Good.
Equals to A bracket negative 2 bracket squared plus 1.
Beautiful. Next line.
And then I'm going to say 9 equals to positive 4 because negative 2 squared is positive 4.
Wonderful.
Plus 1.
Good. Next step.
And then I'm going to take the 1 to the other side and it's going to change to a positive. So it's going to be 8 equals to 4A.
Nice.
And then divide by 4.
Good.
So it's going to be 2 equals to A.
So what's my full equation?
My full equation is Y equals to 2x squared plus 1.
100%. So yes. So
Monica, well done. Monica also
Awesome.
learned. Wow, the explanation.
That's so good. Yay.
Whoa, well done.
Okay, so great. Okay, so our equation is 2x squared plus 1, and we always want to write y is equal to, so that is exactly how it's going to look. Monica explained it beautifully to everyone. And so we first find our y-intercept, and then we substitute in our next points. Beautiful. Great. There's no hair. It's bald. Now he has hair. I feel my smiley faces are getting discriminated against. This is hair all over again. Okay, let's try one more for tonight, and then it's quiz night. So I'm gonna let you go on to quizzes, but let's give one more a try for tonight. Okay. I've kept these ones nice and easy, so it's a similar idea for all of them, but we will deal with trickier ones as we move through. Don't panic. This one to answer is going to be amazing because it was ripped from him in the last one, in the last two. So amazing. Whenever you're ready, just put that hand up for me. Shadow, how can I help?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Can you please go back so that I can take a screenshot?
Sure.
Thank you.
Amazing. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Okay, talk me through.
Our Q it is 4. So we're gonna
Beautiful.
say y equals to ax squared plus 4.
Beautiful. Next step.
Then our y-axis it is 16.
Good.
Then we're gonna say 16 equals to a in brackets 2 close brackets squared plus 4.
Beautiful. Next
Then
line.
we're gonna say 16 equals to 4a plus 4.
Good.
Then we're gonna take 4 to the other side, and it's going to be negative. So it is going to be 16 minus 4 equals to 4a.
Good.
Then we're gonna say 12 equals to 4a.
Nice.
Then we divide both sides by 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then 3 it is equals to a.
Yes. So what's my final equation?
Then our equation it is equals to y equals to 3x squared plus 4.
Woohoo! Nice job.
Done, amazing. Well
Nice
done.
job. So good.
That
Now,
was
I
explained
feel-
proper.
Now that does look like a creepy smiley face, but it's a good one. I can even admit that one went creepy. Nice job, amazing. That was so good. That was awesome. Nice job. I hope that everyone's getting that. So this was like all just to sort of get you sort of happy and get on terms with parabolas and start understanding how they are. Oh my God, all we are. Oh my goodness. But we will start bringing in some trickier ones when we carry on with this on Tuesday. Okay. Okay, just for anyone who wasn't here right at the beginning, I just want to put this message up one more time before I hand you over to Yolanda for quizzes tonight. Okay, I admit that particular smiley face looked a bit creepy, but just that one. Okay, for anyone who wasn't here at the beginning of the lesson, we are doing exam preparation workshops. They are on Saturday the 14th and Saturday the 21st of May. They are 90 minutes or an hour and a half. It costs 199 Rand for both sessions. So you would be able to be there on both Saturdays for the hour and a half on both days. And if you're wanting to sign up, you need to ask your parents to fill out the registration form that they were sent. Okay, so if anyone didn't see this at the beginning of the lesson, please can you know about it now? But I will go back to that other question. Does anyone have any questions about the exam prep before I move back down to the last question? Amazing, yeah. Hello?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I want to ask about the graphs.
Oh, okay. I'll go back down to it now. Does anyone have questions about what you're currently seeing on your screen? Oh, what time is it? I don't know if it was told in the form that was sent to your parents. I think it's in the afternoon, but I think it's in the form that your parents were sent. So the registration form were sent to your parents. So they will have all of that information. It's hopefully going to cover all the topics that you've been taught so far. But it's going to be as much as we can get through in an hour and a half on each day. So yeah, we will try and go through a little bit of everything for both paper 1 and paper 2, but only of the things that were done in term 1 and 2. Okay. And this was the last question we ended on with my creepy smiley face. Okay, yeah, amazing. What were you going to ask? Yeah, you can talk. You're unmuted.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
I was wanting to ask that will we do the hyperbola and exponential graphs?
Yes, we're going to do both of those graphs.
Oh, okay. That those two graphs, they are the most graphs that I like most.
Oh, good. Well, and you did so well with the parabola, so you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I will be just repeating.
It'll be great. Okay. I think that I will be teaching you guys. I have to make sure that I'm also free on those Saturdays. So tentatively, yes. But I can't confirm that right now. Yeah, okay, there we go. So it was in the registration from 3 until 4:30. Thank you so much. You are just like this little wealth of knowledge today. I'm loving the little facts that are coming in here. Knowing more than me, it's great. Okay, on that lovely note, I'm gonna pass you over to Yolanda, and she is gonna help you get onto the quiz for this week. It's gonna be on the stuff that we have done on Tuesday and today, so some straight line things, and then just a little bit of the parabola things, but you will be fine, and I will see you all on Tuesday. I hope you have a beautiful
Teacher
weekend.
Jen. Thank you.